Alright, good morning. This time we are sketching equations, and the first type of equation we are sketching is going to be written in the form y equals mx plus b. I believe they call that slope. I like to use y-intercept phrase. You'll see it written as slope-intercept, but I like classifying it just a little bit more detail. Slope dash y-intercept form. Okay, so because it tells me two different things. Remember, m is always going to be my slope, so the number always attached to the x by multiplication, or it could be division, is always going to be my slope, and the letter b, my constant in this formula, is always going to be that y-intercept. So those are just reminders for you. You've seen these before, so keep that in mind as you do these. Okay, number one, my slope is going to be -5, and I'm going to put it under 1 always. Anytime you have a whole number as a slope, put it under 1, and my y-intercept is going to be -3. Okay, so you always start at the y-intercept. So going down to -3 on my graph, put a dot at -3, and my slope is -5 over 1. Now notice I can only don't go down 2, but that negative could also go on the bottom. So how about that? 5 over -1. Now I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go back 1 and put my dot there, and then draw your slope, draw your line all the way through the graph. Notice my line is going down to the right, hence it's a negative slope. Alright, number 3. This is fairly simple. Again, my slope, 3 over 2, so it's my rise over run. Okay, double checking your definitions of slope. And +3 is equal to my y-intercept. So starting at +3, right there, and rise over run up 3, so I could probably figure out one more above that square, and then go to the right 2, right about there, and then draw your line through. Again, you always start at the y-intercept. Make sure you're always doing that, and then from that y-intercept go up 3 over 2. So if you're wondering, I'm just making a right triangle up 3 over 2. Okay. And if you notice, if I go back to number 1, I went up 5, but then I went to the left, which would be -1. Okay. Alright, number 5. 1 over 2 is equal to my rise over run, and I'm going to start at +3. Okay, so going up to 3, put my dot. Again, that's my starting point. Always start at the y-intercept. Up 3, now my rise over run from this point. So going up 1, running over 2 puts it right about there. Then draw your line. You can always double check too, because your slope is positive, so it has to go up and to the right. And lastly, number 7, we have a slope, rise over run, which equals 7 over 4, and my y-intercept in this case equals -3. So I'm going to start right there with the y-intercept, go on my graph, find -3 on my graph, put a dot at -3, and then rise up 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 puts me at 4, and then run over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where I end. Put a dot right there, and then draw your line. Make sure your line goes through the graph. Again, going up and to the right to indicate a positive slope. Okay. And if you're wondering, there's my right triangle. Up 7 and over 4. Okay. I will let you finish off the rest of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, and double check your work on the answer sheet.